Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, dear students of class 10th. I once again welcome you within this online lecture series. So first of all, let me, before this I'm going to introduce the new chapter and the new topic today for the day. Let me recapitulate the previous talk what I was discussing with you people. Dear students, my last topic was from the chapter federalism, and the subtopic which I discussed that was this local self-government at the state level. Let me tell you briefly, it was actually the democratic decentralization, democracy at the grassroots level, which I was trying to build your concept. Why there is a need of this division of the power, some of the different units within the political system. Later on, I was talking about center-state relations as well. Then I discussed with you people this how this decentralization at the rural level and then at the this urban level was done within constitutionally by the government of by the country India. So if you talk about it, the municipalities were set in among the towns and the municipal corporations were established among the cities. If you talk about this Panchayat Raj institution was established in among rural areas after the amendment within the Constitution of India. So we are the different people who are heading the different sets differently. If you talk about this municipal chairman, he was the head of the municipality, and if we talk about this mayor, he is the head of this municipal corporation. So dear students, lastly I was talking about this decentralization in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, in which I was discussing about this the Naya Kashmir manifesto introduced and established by the within the manifesto by this national conference government, who gave this constitutional status and a constitutional position to what we simply call this decentralization or the democracy at the grassroots level. Beyond that very contours and the context, I did discuss with you people the Ladakh Hill Development Council, which was established by the government of state for this government at the local level at a good governance for the sake of good governance for the people of Ladakh. And then if you talk about the 2005, we have here the Kargil Hill Development Councils, like we are having on the screen as well. It's Ladakh. We will see the beautiful serene picture of the Ladakh at the rough terrains, very uneven natural this topography. Then we can see here this Panchayat Raj, how the Panchayat members under the banner of the Sarpanch, under the dominance of the person called a Sarpanch, under the guidance of the person called a Sarpanch, how the local issues, local daddy issues are discussed and addressed, and the grievances are addressed by these people, and the justice is done at the local level and the grassroots level. So lastly, the nutshell of my last day talk was that both the contents of the textbook, whether we talk about the federalism or whether we talk about the democracy, they talk about this to develop the understanding among the students, so that how the democracy works and different hallmarks of democracy, how all those can be taken into the cognizance and the consideration. By and large, they work for the establishment of the democracy and develop the sensation and the values among the students of the class 10th. So that's why I was talking about this federalism, and within the federalism I talked about this decentralization, and I talked about this democratic decentralization at the grassroots level. So dear students, it was a brief summary or the brief recapitulation of my last chapter, which I have discussed with you people. But the talk of the day, today I'm going to talk about a new chapter that's entitled as this democracy and the diversity. That is the on page number 25 of your textbook page, chapter number 3rd. Very important from your examination point of view, first of all, and then from your understanding level, how this democracy tries to accommodate various things, what we simply call the diversity. So next chapter which I am going to touch today, that's democracy and the diversity. Okay, dear students, so the first subtopic, first of all, let me define that this title of this chapter number 3rd, that's entitled as this democracy and the diversity. Democracy and the diversity. So here, dear students, the moment we are going to talk about the democracy it is simply a type of government. If you talk about its literal meaning of the word democracy, demos, and it has been derived from the Greek terminology, Greek language. That's like demos, D-E-M-O-S, demos, plus kratos, K-R-A-T-O-S. Kratos means, demos means people, and kratos means rule. So its literal meaning, when we are combining both the two words, the literal meaning or the etymological meaning of the word democracy, so it means the people, rule by the people or power by the people. So that's why, students, if you talk about this to define the term, we can simply call it a rule among the hands of the people, or or power among the hands of the people. That's why often the student teachers or the students, or the students of the political science, the moment they are going to define the concept of democracy, they often quote Abraham Lincoln, the American president, who very beautifully says that it's the government by the people, of the people, and for the people. But coming out of this shell and the contours of that very traditional definition and its literal meaning, because that goes fit its literal meaning, that's why the word people are often used there, almost thrice within the definition. That's why that's often quoted. But the moment we come out of that very definition, democracy is a very liberal concept, where the individual rights are given, where the concept of individualism prevails, where the every individual is given a will, or they are given a choice to cast their votes to exercise their political rights, by which they can make the law. It simply means that it's a rule by the common people. People elect their representatives. People are supreme. Nobody or institution is above them. The government is answerable to them, and the people only can change it through the constitutional provisions. So it's the government where the people elect the representatives. People are the supreme voice. They are the highest institution. They are the government is answerable to them. They can they can frame the government, they can establish the government, they can challenge the government, and they can reconstruct the government, and later they can reconstruct the new government as well. So the people do have all the power lies among the hands of the people. The people enjoy the absolute power when it comes to the democracy. So the formation of the government is led by the vote cast by the people. The value of the vote is equal to every individual. Anyone who is casting the vote, that's equal to everyone. So the political rights are enjoyed by the people, exercised by the people within the democratic government, absolutely. So now there is two terms. It's democracy. Now next side is diversity. If we talk about the meaning of the word diversity means heterogeneity, where there are variations, where there are the heterogeneities, where there are no similarities. For example, if you talk of India, in India we are having the land of heterogeneity. There are a lot of regions in India. A lot of languages are spoken by the different people from the different corners of the country, and there are different tribes. There is a gender problem, there is a caste problem, there is a class problem in India. So there are a lot of social differences, and these social differences and economic differences gives birth to the political inequalities. It gives birth to divisions. It gives birth to inequalities. Now, within this chapter, I am going to talk on the topic that how these problems are addressed within the government, this political system that's known as government, form of government that's known as democracy. So, how these inequalities, how these variations, how these heterogeneities is addressed, how these things are very beautifully addressed within a concept that's not simply called the democratic system. Is democracy really such mature idea in which the people address their problems, and the voice of the people is given given the concrete shape, and the people who are at the helm of affairs, they're answerable to those people who are at the lower level? It means that every common man do enjoy the absolute rights within the government system. So dear students, all these ideas, all these ifs and buts, all these doubts and queries, they needs to be answered in this chapter, that how this democracy, taking all these variations into cognizance, and later on they try to address these problems one by one, to maintain the harmony, to maintain the political equality, to maintain economic equality, to deliver the proper and equal social justice to the every common people of the individual of the country. So where no one will feel alien, where no one will feel this sort of alienation, where they feel the way they feel at home. So this is the way. This is the juncture, and this topic that's addressing, that's going to make our mind, that's going to develop as feelings and values of democracy in a broader context. So that is why the chapter is given the title Democracy and the Diversity. Okay, dear students, let's continue. So to understand this sort of diversity, how this democracy attains or it sustains the diversity, let's take a quick leaf from this international story that's from your textbook as well, which I am quoting directly from your textbook. It talks about a story of a Mexico Olympics. Dear students, let's not forget to mention here that the Olympics is a game internationally played after every 4 years. There are almost 200 countries who are taking participation among these Olympics within this Olympic game. So what happened is one day that there was an award ceremony was going on for the same winners within this of the Olympic winners. So there were two persons. And the name of the two persons are Tommy Smith and John Carlos. Here is the pictorial view of those two persons. Tommy Smith and Carlos, John Carlos. John Carlos. In America, in Mexico City, 1968, the medals were presented to all the winners. These two persons were also the winners. And American national anthem was going, it was played. And the US athletes were all calm and mum. But these two persons, Tommy Smith and John Carlos, they were African American. African American means, students, they were born in Africa and now they were living in America. They were African born. That is why we call them African American people. They too have won the same medals, what we simply call the gold and the bronze medals, gold and bronze medals respectively. And the moment they received these medals, they wear the black shoes and no shoes to represent the black poverty. They wear the medals, wear the black shoes, and their shoes were reflecting this black poverty. If you see, look here, there are black shoes and the black hand gloves and this clenched chests as well. And this they try to, by wearing this black badges, black shoes, they want to give the concept, they want to give a message to the world and international community that no doubt we are rewarded by the medals on behalf of our talent. But there is still a racial discrimination. The people are discriminated on the basis of races. That's why the black glued and raised clenched fists were meant to symbolize black power. These clenched fists, they were meant to symbolize the power. And this thing was watched. It was gazed by a person who was an Australian athlete. His name was Peter Norman. Dear students, his name was Peter Norman. He was one other athlete. He was an Australian athlete, Peter Norman, who showed a sympathy towards them. Peter Norman showed a lot of sympathy. He too wore a human badge, right badge, on his shirt during the ceremony and to show support to Americans. This Peter Norman also wore the same badge on his chest that was showing the sort of sympathy with these two African American persons who were reflecting to the world, who were messaging the world that in America still civil rights are neglected. Civil rights are not given to the persons. Racial discrimination is going up to its hilt. So now the question comes, the action that this Smith and Carlos did, do you feel that it will be accepted or appreciated and applauded by the international community? What happened? They were kicked out. They were penalized. The medals were snatched. Both this Norman and this Norman and this Tommy Smith and John Carlos, their medals were snatched. Even the sympathizer, Australian sympathizer, Peter Norman, was also punished. But this is not the end of story here. It's not the end of the story or end of the lecture here, or end of the scene here. But it's the beginning of a new moment and a new view. This moment, this action, this episode, draw the attention of the international community, who raised the voice, against these civil rights. And it led the establishment of the civil rights movement in the United States. And they recently, let me not forget here to mention, there is a university, namely the San Jose University. They established the statues in the university. And when there was a death of a person called Norman, Australian athletes, the sympathizer, when he died, these two friends, Smith and Carlos, they were the pallbearers at his funeral. They hold the funeral of this person because he was a person who... Okay, so when there is a university, what I was saying to you, that there's known as this San Jose University, they honored them and installed their statue within their camps. And when the same sympathizer athletes, namely this Norman, died, these two persons became the pallbearers. They attended the funeral. It means that this racial discrimination came to its end when the international community tried to understand that let's lay the foundation of the civil rights movement. Well, let's talk about the civil rights. When they realized that the rights of the one people, one community, they are alienated by these rights, Still, there is a discrimination on the basis of the race, on the basis of their color. Because you are Africans, you should not enjoy the absolute rights within the American soil. No doubt you do have the bulk of potential with them. No doubt they are the winners, they are the athletes. But still they felt this thing that they bow down there, their clenched fists reflects their black badges, their black socks, their bowed heads is a complete crystal message to the world that the civil rights are devalued, they are discriminated, they are snatched, they are alienated, they are not given to the every individual in America. So that's what we witnessed there, that they talked about this, that this heterogeneity she needs to be represented. This black and white competition should come to end. That's why they talked about their rights, and they talked about to end this north-south gap or black-white gap. Dear students, within a comic lecture, we are also going to talk about the different divisions within the society and similarities as well. Okay, it was all for the today. Till then, I will join you back. Till then, take care and all the best.